Hey everybody, what's going on? Hellmite here, bringing you another video from Grab the Lantern today. Today I wanted to talk about the recent Banner of Command building that we've been seeing in professional play, and kind of talk about the implications of this, and if I think anything should be done about Banner of Command, or potentially about Baron buff. Now, if you're unaware of the strategy, haven't been following professional play, it essentially goes as such. Since Riot recently buffed the Baron buff, which I'll henceforth refer to as Exalted, as that's what it's called, and that will make it way easier to talk about it. Riot have buffed Exalted so that it's significantly stronger, and it scales up better throughout the game. And one of the ways they buffed it is that cannon minions now attack faster and deal slightly more damage when buffed with Exalted. Now, this already means that they outrange turrets, they do a decent amount of damage, but then professional players decided, hey, if we build Banner of Command and use the active on the siege minion increased with Exalted, then essentially you have a very long-ranged siege minion that does lots and lots of damage to towers, and which can't be killed with magic damage, which is some of the only damage in the game that has a long enough range to reach the siege minion. So towers literally die in 8 shots. I wish I was kidding, but that's actually how many shots it takes for the siege minion to kill the tower. And essentially, it's impossible to be killed because you can't get close enough to actually deal any damage to it with physical damage, and magic damage just doesn't do anything to it. And now, Splice actually took this one step further, and they played Ivern as well and put a bush on top of the siege minion so that you couldn't even target it or see it while it's attacking your structures. Now, this essentially makes a 6th man on the battlefield. Like, the siege minion, if left alone, will win the game by itself. That kind of gives you a sense for how strong this combination is. And so a lot of teams have actually adapted by having their supports and potentially one other player on the team run minion dematerializers, as that doesn't deal damage, it just kills the minion, removes it from existence, and has a reasonable range. And that's pretty much the only way possible that the pros have found to deal with the Baron empowered siege minion Banner of Command combination that people have been playing. Now, already, it's only been 1 day, 2 days in the professional circuit, and people are already complaining about it, saying that this is entirely busted, something needs to change, Banner of Command needs to be removed, all that sort of thing. Now, at the end of the day, I think that it's a very strong combination, and at the very minimum, needs to be nerfed, because I think right now, the team that gets Baron buff, they will have a Banner of Command because teams know that they eventually have the possibility to get Baron. And once they do have their Banner and Baron, it can be very difficult to deal with. However, I don't think it's so out of line that it just has to be removed from the game entirely. As we've already seen, there are ways to play around this. There are things you can do. First, if you're building Banner of Command and your team is behind, well, you're never going to get Baron, and if you don't get Baron, that Banner of Command is going to sit around being mostly useless. Yeah, it generates a little bit of side lane pressure if you're able to put it on a minion and then walk over to the other side of the map, but that minion isn't invincible, and it will eventually die to towers or other minions. Sure, it helps you stay pushed in, but it doesn't really do that much else for you. So I don't know that it's necessarily great if you're behind. In fact, if you are behind, I would recommend not building Banner of Command because you'll probably not find an opportunity to bring the strategy out. If you're ahead, meanwhile, it does help you, but the whole point of the Baron buffs, I said I was going to call it Exalted and then immediately messed up, but anyways, the point of the Exalted buffs was to make it so that professional teams could end the game. The problem beforehand was that teams could acquire multiple Barons and still not have the leverage they needed to actually end a game. And we saw this a few times, even at Worlds and throughout most of the spring split, is that teams could get Baron after Baron after Baron and still be completely unable to actually get in and end the game because teams had such high wave clear and teams just had so much damage that they weren't able to actually close in and threaten the inhibitor towers, even with Baron buff. So clearly, Exalted needed to be buffed. You needed to do something with it. And I think that having the option of going for a Banner of Command Baron minion strategy is a good one, because I think it gives teams the option of having sort of a, not necessarily counter-proof way of ending the game, but a way of ending the game that's a lot safer to do. Now, the other thing I kind of wanted to talk about as well is that it's not uncounterable. There are things you can do, and in fact, some pro teams haven't even opted to go for that strategy. They've just kind of said, forget about it, we don't actually want to or need to go for a Banner of Command here. We're going to go for a completely opposite strategy, and some people have even said, sure, you can get Banner of Command as a support, but if you don't have a Locket, you're going to lose the fight anyways. So, and maybe that says something more about the state of Locket of the Iron Solari than it says about Banner of Command, but it does mean that you don't just build Banner of Command and immediately win games off of it. You need to have the right scenarios, and even then, there are counterplay. Like I said, pros have been holding on to 1 to 2 of their minion dematerializers for the late game, specifically for these kind of scenarios, because if it does crop up and the team gets Baron, has the Banner-empowered Baron minion, you could just dematerialize it instantly, and it's dead. It's gone, and their push is kind of thwarted right there. It's still a regular Baron push, but it's not quite the same thing. So, in my opinion, I don't think that there's necessarily that much wrong with the current strategy. I think that there potentially needs to be a little bit more counterplay to it other than minion dematerializer, because right now it's a little insane. Maybe reducing the range on the cannon minion a little bit, still keeping it outside of tower range, but making it so that it has to get closer to the tower before it can attack, might be a better strategy. That way champions like Caitlyn or Tristana can walk up and get a rapid fire cannon auto attack on it and kind of slowly chip it down. That kind of strategy might be a better idea. That kind of nerf might be a little bit better for the game. But I think as far as strategy goes, I think it's fine. And in all honesty, I'm happy to just see Banner of Command being played. In fact, literally the day before people started doing this, I was writing a column saying, Banner of Command is the second worst item in the game. No one ever builds this. It's worthless. So I'm really happy to see that this item is seeing play again. I'm happy to see Zeke's Convergence see play again, but that's a different story. But these items that have been historically underused finally seeing play in professional play and being strong is exciting to me, because it kind of goes to show that the item system's kind of working as intended. Almost every item has a niche, has a reason to be bought, has a reason to exist. So I don't want to see this get removed, is essentially what I'm saying, because I like the interaction and I like how it does help teams and games. The only question I have is it currently healthy in its current state? And I would say not entirely. Maybe a few nerfs are needed, but it's not as bad as people are making it out to be and making the game utterly unplayable. So far, that hasn't been the case. But that's just my opinion. If you guys think completely differently, if you guys think I'm a total hack job and that Banner absolutely needs to be removed from the game, go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. And if you really enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I upload a video every Monday, Friday, and on patch days as well. And if you're looking for more Grab the Lantern content, you could check out my blog, link down in the description. I upload an article every single day for your enjoyment. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And I will talk to you all later.